Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for June 6, 2021. So I have tried to film this 5 times. We are going to try one last time, hopefully. Oh, I'm just showing the book early. Talk about. So this week was really nice because it started off with the holiday, Memorial Day, so that was nice, an extra day to read. And then the week was really, normal. Busy because it was the shortened week, and then we were all going into our busy seasons. My department it's not our busy season, but we have to respond to all the other stuff, so it's still busy. And then Friday I had my second COVID shot, which luckily I did not have a reaction to. Now we're almost 2 days later and I only have a sore arm, so thank goodness. I was really concerned because the last time I had gotten sick on the first one. So I'm good with that. My mom was here for Friday and Saturday because my brother and my dad and all the men in the family are fishing. And so it's the annual fishing weekend. So my mom came up and hung out with me for the day, 2 days. And then, so I didn't get a whole lot of reading in that time. But I did finish quite a few things. I finished 4 things and DNF'd one. And then I started a lot of books. So let's talk about all the books. So again, the first one I showed already is The Main Event by Shelley Lawrenson. This is the first book in the Pride series. I finished this on the 31st, so on the last day of the month on Memorial Day. So this it contains 2 short novels that follow, it's a paranormal romance with shifters in New York City. So the first one follows a cop, Des, who runs into her old best friend from high school, Mace, who is a lion shifter. She doesn't know that, but it's 20 years later, so they're in their 30s. They've had their ups and downs in their own lives, and then they are reconnected when his sister is suspected of killing another guy, a man, and that, she probably, it's one of those things where Des didn't get along with his sister. And stuff, so it's kind of funny. But again, Shelley Lawrenson's really good at funny paranormal romance, and it's just they're just hilarious. These are not as funny, I would say, as some of her other stuff. The Honey Badgers, it's just over the top funny, like just absurd. And I don't think this is quite to this level, but you can see she's going towards that. Like it's getting close. Like there are certain things in here that are still really funny. So, and then the second book follows a lion shifter from the first book that got injured, and it's his story with a wolf shifter and their attraction, but they don't want to be attracted to each other, but they are kind of thing. But it's, and dealing with stuff, in more contemporary wise, but for a paranormal romance. I liked them both. I'm definitely going to continue the series because I want to read more of these before I reread the Honey Badgers at some point. So I'll get more context for all the characters who pop up in those books that I'm just like, I know they must have a book somewhere. And I did. It turned out it was a series and I just didn't know about it. Or I knew about it. I had ebook copies of some of these and I didn't even realize it was a series I should have started first. But that's fine. So I finished The Main Event. I have The Beast in Him. So I'm hoping to pick that up in the next month or 2. So anyway, so that was good. So I'm just going to do my little board real quick here. This is because I still have May on here because I just want to do a quick finish for you guys. And then we'll do June next week. But the only thing I had to add is I started a series. So really, this month wasn't that bad. I got a lot of modern classics done for the 1900 to 1950 readathon. The last week I did all my series stuff. I did a lot of nonfiction for Springathon, and I did a couple historical fictions and an ebook. Well, and one reread. So anyway, so I think I did pretty good for May. As I said, I will clear that off and we'll start June next week. Which, again, these ones I'll add that I finished. So the next book I finished was Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. I think I finished this on Thursday, I think. This is written in the 1400s. And we don't know who the author is. So it's a classic. It's written in Middle English. And it is my cat is distracted. He found a piece of paper and Cooper's running around with it. Anyway, sorry. It is translated by Simon Armitage. So this was really good. I think he did a good job translating. just because it flowed really nicely. So I did not know anything about Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. I, like a lot of people, knew that there was a movie coming last year when they gave us like a little clip it. I don't know where that word came from, sorry. And my throat's getting dry. I saw a little part of it, and then they released the trailer in May, and I was like, I need to read that book. And I knew that Ancientsathon, which is put on by Jennifer Brooks and Tori at Hufflepuff Discovery, was happening in June. It's a month-long readathon. I'm reading books that were written before 1700. So it's a huge time period to pick from. And again, this was written in the 1400s, we believe, even though we don't know who by. But so this is the tale of Sir Gawain, who is a knight of the Round Table. And at Christmas, New Year's time, a green knight on his green steed comes in and wants to play a game and asks one of the knight or somebody to step forward to take a swing at him with his axe, and then in a year's time, then he would be able to return the favor. And so we have the story of Sir Gawain stepping up and then his journey to meet up with the Green Knight to fulfill that game. This was a lot different than I imagined. I didn't really know what, I mean, I'd heard, it's one of those cultural things where like I've heard a little bit here and there on things and in other books, but I didn't really know the story. And I'm actually really glad that I read this and finally kind of know now a little bit more about this. I thought the translation was really well done. Again, it's one of those ones that has the Middle English on one side, and then the other side is the translation. So, I thought that was really, I like that format for that, because I think I did Beowulf that way as well. So, I really liked this overall. And again, Simon Armitage is a poet, so I think he did really well on that. I mean, I'm not a poet, or somebody who reads a lot of poetry, but I thought he did a good job. I thought it read really well. So, I do want to read the translation by J.R.R. Tolkien at some point just to see the differences. But I really like this, and I'm really glad I read it. And again, it was my first book for Ancientsathon, and I don't really remember all the prompts because I'm not really reading to prompts on a lot of the readathons anymore. I don't know if I've mentioned that to you guys, but I've kind of stepped away from actually, like, I just go off of the themes. Like, if it, like, Springathon, I didn't follow the prompts. I just read books that I would consider nature nonfiction. And Ancientsathon, I'm just picking books that was written in those times, whatever I feel like. So I don't know, like, what prompt this would go to, but anyway, I'm just being honest. I'm not following anything that closely. I'm just reading to learn new things and, try some things that I hadn't let myself try just because I hadn't thought about it. So anyway, but Sir Garwin and the Green Knight was good. I enjoyed that. I also finished Cant Communicate by Tomohito Oda. This is manga. This is volume 1, translated by John Weary. So, one of my writer friends, reads a lot of manga and a lot of ones that I have not heard of because I'm not up to date anymore. Because I used to, like, I would say the early 2000s, I pretty much knew all the manga and all the anime that was playing at the time. It's been a while since then, so I'm kind of on, like, I don't know as much anymore. And he mentioned this one that was kind of fun, and it has to do with Kami, who is pretty much considered the ice princess, that nothing can touch her, but everybody is in awe of her, And Tadano has to sit next to her. He's just newly to that school, and he realizes she has trouble talking. She just she's not able to get her words out. If she has high anxiety of that, of actually talking out loud. So they become friends, and he asks her what she wants, and she says she wants to make 100 friends. And so this is their journey of doing that. And I thought it was really cute. It's kind of funny in some parts. So I might continue. I'm not positive yet. I'll probably get the next one from the library and just try one more. I'm not really big in the high school ones anymore, unless there's more of a paranormal element. But I haven't been reading much manga, and I feel I miss it. But I don't want to buy it anymore because I bought so much over the years that I've spent a lot of money on anime and manga. And I just stopped doing that because I buy too many other books now. But I think I'm going to continue with this one. At least one more. And it made me also ask for a different series from the library too, so at least I'll have another one coming. I don't know, I have The Girl from the Other Side. I have the next book at my library right now to pick up today, so I'm excited. I'm going to read that this week. And then the other book that I finished was an audiobook, Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. This is the classic nature nonfiction on talking about the environment and the effects of pesticides and things on DDT and all that. It was, I think it was really well done. So I listened to it, and the narrator was Susie Barnes. I listened to it from my Libby app from my library. So I picked this up after Springathon was done because I just felt like I've never read this, and people reference it in other books that I was reading. And I'm like, okay, I just need to read this foundational piece of nature nonfiction just so I understand what other people are referencing. So I'm glad I did this, because even though this is almost 50 years old, there is so much in here that just upsets you about nature and how humans focus on the wrong things sometimes to get rid of pests. And it was really well done in showing the effects of thinking, okay, we're going to eradicate this insect or whatever, and not taking into account that what they're using will also eradicate everything that was a predator to that, as well as other life forms, and might even affect, well, I mean, to a lesser extent, even humans who can be affected by it as well. But really, it's the nature that is just devastated by some of the spraying that was done in the 40s and 50s and 60s. And it was just, it was horrible. And I know that things have, between now and then, there have been other disasters of the same thing, of them trying to get rid of certain pests and insects and stuff that probably was done the wrong way. But there were some really good examples on how to look at it a different way and come at the problem without chemicals. And I thought it was really well done, showing that, you know, we need to take more time to think this through before you just throw chemicals at the problem. And so I overall really enjoyed this book, just learning wise, even though, again, you had to look back and go, oh, it's so old and all that data is from, you know, the 40s and 50s and the 60s, but it really is good to know that, you know, from that standpoint then, and then to see the things that have happened in the last 50 years. So I'm glad I read this. Again, it was not for my Springathon, but it kind of, it was kind of late entry of, you know, what I did want to read that at some point, and I finally just did it. So anyway, so that is what I finished. I DNF'd Wolf Bride by Elizabeth Moss. Lust in the Tudor Court. Hilary Mantel meets Sylvia Day. That's what it was. Anyway, so this was good, sexy times. I will say that. But I really hated the main character. A female lead character. So it starts off with her being a lady in waiting for Anne Boleyn, the Queen Anne Boleyn. And so she sees some things they probably shouldn't have, and kind of wonders about the Queen's fidelity kind of thing. And then she is suddenly, oh, you're going to get her father shows up and says, yeah, you're going to marry our neighbor, this Baron Wolf, or Lord Wolf. And, you know, that's kind of it. You're just going to do it. Anyway, so she's not happy about that, because she has, you know, she has someone thinks she's in love with. And then that kind of goes downhill when she's meeting with him and Wolf shows up. And there is a good chemistry between her and Wolf. And I liked that from the beginning. I thought that was really well done. But he, at least, is a character that kind of grows. Because again, I just got over halfway when I finally I can't do this anymore. He at least starts off with certain conceptions, and he's also trying to make, he's trying to make it work. Okay, so he knows they're going to get married, blah, 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 you know. So it's like, he's made the decision, it's going to happen. And she's kind of like, whoa, you know, I don't even know you. Like, we knew each other as kids, kind of, like, from a distance. And, you know, I'm kind of coming to this from behind. So he's good about that. And then her personality fluctuates. And that's the problem with this, is in the beginning, she comes all meek and mild as a lady in waiting. And even with her almost lover kind of thing, she's very meek and, like, very straight-laced. And then And then she's not really. She kind of keeps getting told that she's, you know, she's more argumentative than she should be and stuff. And I'm like, okay, first of all, we never saw any of that. We saw her kind of flirting with some other, like when they were traveling north to go back home for the wedding. She kind of flirts with the guy who came with them. That's, I mean, very safely. She didn't do anything outrageous. But again, nobody likes that she was talking to him. But she was mad at Wolf for some stupid reason or other. I don't know. Anyway, and then, okay, so she's kind of flirty, but she's not argumentative. But the guys all think she is. And then she suddenly, like, totally gets mad at him because he made some flippant comment. I don't even remember what it was. Anyway, stupid. So then she doesn't want to talk to Wolf at all. And then on their wedding night, she's like super scared of him. Like all of a sudden, like there's all these things that have happened. I'm not even talking about like the actions and things that happened in between. And the sexy times that kind of almost happened, kind of, you know, like it was just like, she was like all over the place. And then she's scared, and then they kind of get over that, but not really. And then then she starts lying to him or not telling him the whole truth. And I was like, I'm done. Like, I've had it. Like, again, and you have to understand one of my things is that if if a character becomes a liar for no good reason to me, I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I just don't care. That is to me a personality flaw that I cannot handle, especially in a book. And I'm not going to waste any more time on this. I liked the male character, Wolf. He at least was moving forward. He made mistakes, but he moved forward. Like, he was trying to see things from her point of view, but she just couldn't do it. And it just drove me crazy. And so the action was just going to pick up because again, this is they were going to head back to Henry VIII's court because Anne Boleyn had just been put in the Tower, and Eloise is called back to give testimony. Well, again, there are so many things that could have been just fun with this if it had gone a different way, but she was such an idiot. I just got so annoyed with her and so angry because her emotions were all over the place, but they didn't make sense to me. And I guess it just didn't click for me. I think other people will like it. Again, the sexy times were good. Like, they're hot. Like, I liked those. Just couldn't handle her. And again, I liked him a lot better than I liked her. And, yeah, I don't know. I got to the point where I'm like, I don't need to keep reading this. I didn't pay a whole that much money for this. I think I bought this pretty cheaply. So I was like, I don't care. So that didn't work out, but at least I read part of it. Oh, my throat's all of a sudden. Sorry about that. Anyway, so let's now talk about the books that I'm in the middle of. I still am reading The First Sister by Lyndon A. Lewis. So I did pick this up one day, I think Thursday, after I finished Sir Gawain. And I did read another 30 pages. So I'm now at 111 pages. And I'm going to continue at least one more time. I still don't know if I like this enough to finish the book. But I liked those pages better than I liked right before that. I got through the scene that I really disliked, where, again, the main character, the first sister, lied. And I had real problems with that. But then the next couple scenes were really ramped up the tension. So I did like that. So this is a futuristic space thing within the solar system. There are two groups. There's the Icaruses, or the Icari, who live on on Mercury and Venus. And they have their different society. It's very different from the ones who live on Mars, which are called Geans. And they have, of course, fought, and there have been some big battles recently, not in the not too distant past, between them. The Geans have one of the spaceships, I think, that came from there, and on them, with their soldiers, are our sisters, who are part of this religious group that take confessions and do other things for the soldiers on board these ships. So the first sister means that they're the ones that is the captain's confessor, and so they're usually under the protection of the captain, so they don't have to do anything else but what the captain tells them to do. And then the other sisters have to service the other ones. Anyway, it's not, I don't like that. Anyway, so my problem with the first sister is that she was the first sister, and the captain she was supposed to retire with doesn't take her, and she is then forced to deal with a new captain who is very different. And so it kind of throws her into a tailspin, because now she very well could lose her position and become one of the other sisters, and one of the other ones become the first sister. So she is fighting for her position, and I don't know if she does things she should. And then we're following one of the Ikari soldiers who gets told that his partner, again, they were separated after this battle went badly and they lost. And so they were both being punished. His partner got sent off on a mission to Mars, and she turned traitor. So now he is being sent with another soldier who had been with his old partner and lost her pretty much on Mars. So they're going back and then they're going to finish the mission as well as figure out what happened to the traitor. And then we have the traitor's voice message to the one who's from Icarus is called so Lucius is the soldier who's going on the mission, and then Hero is the one who turned traitor. So Hero leaves a message for Lucius that he got right before he left, and then it plays between chapters telling her story and how she turned traitor and stuff. So I haven't got quite that far. So it's still telling a lot about her childhood and how she met Lucius and how they became a team before the battle that they lost. Anyway, so there's a lot of good things in here. I like the world building. I like a lot of the technology is interesting, because again, it's a little futuristic, but she doesn't explain too much. There's also people who live in the belt, and there's another kind of like a different kind of humanoid who also is there too. It's just there's a lot of good things about this. My problem is the first sister. She drives me crazy in her storyline. Now again, I finished on Friday or Thursday when I stopped reading this before bed. It stopped at a really good part of the end of a chapter. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to jump back into this again. I didn't read it Friday and Saturday because my mom was here, and then yesterday I just didn't feel like it. So because I was tired. Anyway, so I'm going to try to get back to this today or tomorrow and give it one more shot at least, and try to read another good chunk and then make a decision on this. I still think this could be a series that I like. I'm not sure. If I could get past the first sister's actions, I don't know. We'll see. So I have started that, still working on that. I started yesterday A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr. So this is a book I picked up for Pastoral June, which is put on by Angie at Literary Labors and Summer at Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats. So this is, it takes place in 1920 in a country in the north, and he goes there to for his first solo job to to help restore or uncover a painting that's in a church that has been whitewashed over. So he's there to work for that because somebody's gave money for him to do that. So it's his story, and he's down on his luck. He's come back from the Great War and injured or broken in some ways, and then I think he has a relationship that had just failed, so he was glad to get out of London to go to this job. So I think this is him interacting with the people there. Again, I'm about a third of the way through. Well, maybe not that far. I think about a quarter, actually. I'm a quarter of the way through so far. And I picked this up for Pastoral June, but I've had this on my shelf for at least a year or two because I saw Shawn the Book Maniac talk about this a long time ago. So I want to get to this. I'm working on that. I also picked up The Arab of the Future, A Childhood in the Middle East, 1978 to 1984. So this is by Riyad Sutov, something like that. This is a graphic memoir that tells about his time growing up. So he lived in France, and then his dad took a job in I think it was in Libya. And then, because he was I don't know if he was from Libya or from Syria. And then he married a French woman, and then they had the kid. And then he was a teacher. The father was a teacher, so they went there. And that was just harrowing. And then they came back to France, and then the second child was born. Then they went to Syria. So I'm just getting into that part. So I think there are 4 volumes. I heard about this from Doris at All the Books. I don't know, did you read it last year or the year before? I think it was her. Wow, my throat is just not doing good. Anyway, so I'm hoping to get that done here this next week. And then maybe ask for the next volume. But again, it's in a time period where I was young too. So like, I don't remember a lot of the history stuff he mentions about. Because between 78 and 84, I was also a child. Not too much difference in age from him. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, I remember certain things, but maybe not too well. So it's interesting. And again, it's in the Middle Ages. So far I'm enjoying that memoir. And then I also started The Sun in the Morning by MMK, My Early Years in India and England. This is a writer who wrote The Far Pavilions and Shadow of the Moon and Tide Winds. I have not read any of her fiction yet. She also wrote a mystery series as well. I have Shadow of the Moon on my shelf, and I just bought The Far Pavilions. And I guess The Far Pavilions really blew up, and I guess there's a mini series and everything, and it was really very popular. I don't know anything about it, but I know about her from people talking about it on BookTube at one point, or I came across it. And then I saw Kate Howe had put a group together, and we're reading this to read the memoirs, because she has 3 volumes of these. So we're just doing the first one right now, this one. And then if I get halfway through and I'm really still enjoying it, because so far I am, then I will buy the other 2. So this is talking about her early years. The first part of the story tells more about her dad and her mom and their travels before, they got together. So like, her mother was born from missionaries who came from England to China. So she grew up in China. And then her father went to India and was a soldier there for a while. And then he got transferred from India to China at some point. And that's where the parents met. It was very interesting, because she talks a lot about her dad and her mom. So far her dad a lot, like she's focused a lot on him, but he was older than her mom by quite a bit. So anyway, I just got to the point where they just finally got together, her parents. So we'll see how it goes from there. Again, I'm not very far. I'm like, 15% of the way through, I think. That's what Goodreads said. So it's going to be a long read. I figure I'm going to try to get it done by the end of the month, but I might not. We'll see. We are doing a Voxer group with this, but not very many people talked about it yet. I'm the only one it looks like who started. I don't know. I can't tell. But anyway, I'm enjoying this so far, and I hope to continue that, and also to get the other books, hopefully. And then, and then I also just started this morning. I knew there was something I forgot. This is my next audiobook. So I go through phases where I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and then there's a lot of time. And then there's, how did I get there? So I'm listening to, the Sakura Obsession, and the incredible story of the plant hunter who saved Japan's cherry blossoms by Naoko Abe. So I don't know if it's translated. I know it was first published in Japan, and then they brought out a version. So there must be a translator. I just haven't found it yet. I'll know next week. I'm going to hopefully get a physical copy from my library, because I want to look at the pictures. But this talks about a man in the early 1900s who took certain Sakura samples back to England, and then again populated them here. And then something happens, I think, with the Japanese cherry blossoms, that the trees start to die or something. And I think that because he had some samples that were not damaged, that they were able to repopulate them in Japan, because Japan has a huge culture around the Sakura blossom, and around the cherry blossom festivals, and going to sit under them, and during that time of year taking pictures in front of them. Like, it's a big thing. And again, I've read a lot of books on Japanese literature, as well as watched a lot of anime and manga. It is very much in their culture. So it's very interesting, this idea that learning that their trees were dying, and then this Englishman, because he took some samples, or took some trees back to England, that he was able to help them later on. So I'm only in the very beginning of this, just telling about him and his family, and then because obviously they had money because he was able to travel to Japan in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So we'll see where this goes. All I know is that so far, so he's just like the chapter I stopped on. He's just about to go to Japan. So I've listened to about an hour out of the 6 hours, and again, I have it on 1.5 speed. So I don't know. I think the original is like 8 hours, but so I'm already about an hour into it, or yeah. So far I'm enjoying it, and that is read by Ellen Archer. So far so good. And then the last thing is the book I'm going to probably start today is Inferno by Dante. So I've never read anything but maybe a canto or two in college. I don't remember a whole lot. So I'm going to read at least Inferno this month because of the Ancientsathon. Sorry. So I wanted to join the read along that Jennifer Brooks was doing, but too many other things were going on, and I just couldn't add something else. So I'm going to read probably this next week. I'm going to try to read 5 cantos a day to get it done this week before next week. Because I'm trying on this, this is kind of like my vague try to read one book for Ancientsathon every week. But so they're different things. So I'm going to try to read this one this week, and then I have another plan for maybe some plays next week, and then the week after I'm hoping to maybe do the Decameron part of that. I'm not sure, because I never finished that from 3 years ago, or 4, I don't know, it was a long time ago. But anyway, I want to read Dante at least a little bit, so I'm going to read, as I said, 5 cantos a day. So again, it is kind of poetry, so we'll see how I go, but that is the only thing for sure I'm going to read. I have no idea what I'll do if I finish any of the other books, because I'm already in the middle of these. So I'm already in the middle of these. I want to make progress in all these and then start this. This is not my normal reading. Oh. So that is it. I've talked way too long. I will redo my board for next week and add the Sir Garwin and the nonfiction Silent Spring on there. But other than that, it should be ready for next week. I think that's it. Man, I've talked a lot, and I've done this like 3 or 4 times now, so we're done. Anyway, I hope what are you guys reading? Anything good? I hope it's good. Let me know. I think that's it. If you know any other books like Silent Spring that's more updated, or ones about now that might have some kind of the same kind of parallels, let me know about that too. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.